Welcome back to the Breakroom, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, as always, Mikey O'ver. And if you're watching, you already know the deal. So, grab your coffee, grab your lunch, relax in the break room. Try to avoid the weird guy at the office that's always in there for some reason, grabbing a snack from the vending machine, because we've got some things to talk about. So, let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about, as you can see, is the PSG yard sale that occurred yesterday. Now, this is getting filmed and released on the 5th. So I am speaking of the 4th right now, where PSG faced off against Man City in the Champions League. And they absolutely sold. Now, I understand you're playing in Man City. It's raining, it's snowing, there's mud, and you're from Paris, which I guess you don't get that kind of weather. But you have Neymar. You have Icardi. You have Verratti. You have Ander Herrera. You've got one of the best center back duos in the world as well in Kimpembe and Marquinhos. But Angel Di Maria, you decided to sell. You decided to sell. Leandro Paredes, you decided to sell. Diallo, you decided to sell. This was a winnable game for PSG. A winnable game, and they decided to sell. And it hurts because there's speculation that this could be Neymar's last year in PSG, and it ends like this after going to the final last year, now getting bounced in the semis to arguably everyone's least favorite team in soccer because their subs, you want to hear the subs that Man City was able to bring on? Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero. That's a contending team's front line, not a first three subs. Man City, I hope you lose in the Champions League final because I'm so tired of your antics and I'm tired of your fan base because you're frauds and all you do is buy players. And Pep Guardiola sits there and celebrates as if he's bringing Burnley to the Champions League final. But I'm done with PSG because their MVP, Kylian Mbappe, was only fit enough to play one half and couldn't have looked less enthused on the sideline, which disappoints me. But speaking of MVPs, the NBA MVP race is absolutely heating up. You've got Jokic, you've got Embiid, you've got Giannis starting to be a little sneaky in there after defeating the Nets 2 times in a row, who everyone thought were unbeatable. Now, yes, they didn't have James Harden, but Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, that's no duo to be laughed at. And Giannis and the Bucks took them down twice, which I think is an achievement all in itself. But the NBA MVP race, I think, is just a popularity contest at this point. Because there are a couple names, Julius Randle, Stephen Curry, and Russell Westbrook, that deserve to be in the top 5, that apparently haven't even sniffed the top 5 yet in the rankings, and are sitting around like 8, 9, 10, and some of them not even in the conversation. Which is frustrating because when you look at the Wizards and you look at the Warriors, those are 2 rosters on paper that don't deserve to be anywhere near the playoffs. However, their team, their best players, or in one case, the best player, the other case, I would say second best to Bradley Beal because I think Bradley Beal is playing at an unbelievable level, are bringing their teams to the playoffs, which apparently isn't something that is valued in the NBA MVP community because the Warriors and the Wizards are lottery teams without those guys playing the way they're playing right now. The Warriors might be the worst team in the West without Stephen Curry playing the way he's playing right now. And yes, I'm a little biased because I have the crib on Stephen Curry to be the MVP, but I also think the amount of disrespect that the NBA is showing to these guys, who clearly deserve to be at least in the conversation near the top 5, aren't even in the conversation. So now we've got a situation where you're looking at the NBA MVP race and you're going, what are we looking at here, right? What are we looking at here? Are we looking at the effect on the team? Are we looking at just stats alone? What are we looking at? Because if we're looking at those 2 metrics, Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double and bringing the Wizards to the playoffs. Stephen Curry is absolutely the only reason the Warriors are even in contention this year and has scored 50 points multiple times. So what are we looking at? The whole the whole criteria must just be trash. And speaking of trash, brings me to my next topic, which is baseball. And specifically, yes, if you're looking at the headline, you see baseball is trash. You got clickbaited if that's why you're here. Because baseball is not trash, but I will say the way that the MLB has treated the Astros since they cheated has been despicable. Kicking fans out of the arena for banging trash cans. Confiscating blow-up trash cans so that fans cannot taunt the players. What are we teaching our kids? Is that if you cheat, you don't deserve to get any heat for it. You don't even lose your trophy. So now we're sitting here in an era where they deserve to be chirped, jeered, and even, I would argue, kicked out of the league for what they did in that World Series run. But the MLB won't even allow fans, especially of the team, the Yankees, who got absolutely screwed over by it, to have fans bring in blow-up trash cans to taunt them. I mean, are we kidding right now, MLB? Are we kidding? You should be encouraging fans to bring in inflatable trash cans to taunt them. You should be encouraging, this is unbelievable behavior from the MLB. You're protecting a cheating franchise with cheating players. It's trash. And the Astros are trash. And they deserve to be treated as such. But you're allowing ballpark security and encouraging ballpark security to throw out fans, to confiscate this material. Sports are for the fans, and the Astros cheated fans out of wins, out of World Series. And what kind of apology did they do? Basically a slap on the wrist and some of us didn't know and some of us felt like we had to. That's garbage, Astros. That is garbage. I hope the Astros never win another World Series for as long as I live. Because cheating in sports is awful. And, I get steroids in baseball, is what it is. I get that whole argument. But genuinely cheating, calling out pitches, using trash cans to allow your batters to know what pitch is coming next, that's garbage. And they deserve to be heckled. And I support every fan that heckles the Astros. And I like to give a shout out to those fans that heckle the Astros and tell you, keep going. Because if I go to a game where the Astros are playing, you better bet I'm heckling. But I'd also like to give a shout out to some other people. And those people are from the Book It Sports app. What is the Book It Sports app, you might be asking? Well, the Book It Sports app, if you're here, you might be a fan, you might not. If you stumbled across us on Spotify or YouTube and you just wanted to see what I was going to say about everything, Book It Sports is a one-stop shop app for all things sports fans and sports bettors alike. It's a social media scrolling feed where you can post to that feed. You can follow your friends or personalities on the platform. You can track your action that you're placing on the sports books as a sports bettor and keep a record so people can know if you're actually good at what you do. And you can even, if you're struggling or if you just want a little help, buy picks from our expert and verified Book It handicappers. Shout out Midwest Mike, one of them. He's absolutely on fire right now. But also, that's not what we're all about. We're all about the community, and I want to give a shout out to a couple accounts that have really been keeping the community going and that have been active every day and that I've loved interacting with. First is Top Flight. I put out a post on Book It, said, hey, who wants a shout out? He put a little rocket because that's his logo. Shout out you, Top Flight. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. Shout out Ian1252. He's been one of my followers since day one. And you know what? I'd just like to give him a quick shout out because he deserves it. Way to go, Ian. Love you, man. And then I'd like to give a big shout out to Burley Gunner. I just followed him last night for the first time. It's really tough sometimes because sometimes I go through my liked posts, and if I see that you follow me and I don't follow you, but you like my post, I follow you. And that's what happened last night, Burley Gunner, but I went through your profile. Excellent dude, excellent content. Shout out you, Burley Gunner. You guys keep this whole thing going, and we love it. But now it's for at least my favorite part of the show, and hopefully yours, is we're going to step into the train station, which if you've followed Mikey Overs, you know that the train station is a spot where we gather, where we chat, where I tell you what I'm going to take, what I'm high on, and what came to a devastating end in terms of a train. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is pull up last episode's Prop Talk Rundown so I can see Not prop talk. This is the break room. This is the break room. This is the break room. Okay. Nick, we'll fix this in post. We'll fix this in post. All right. So here's the deal. Quick update on our last train station. The Lou Dort hype train was absolutely electric. He took us to the promised land on a couple overs, on a couple plus money overs, I should say. But then last night, tragedy struck. I took his over. I got in the train. I'm still in the train. I'm starting to talk to the people around me on the train. I go, hey, how you doing? You liking the train? You like Lou Dort? This is great, right? Guys are coming down the aisle. Make sure you make room for new passengers. A lot of people are trying to get on. So I was like, hey, let's ride his overnight, huh? Talking to people next to me. Hey, a little over tonight? A little over tonight? A little Lou Dort over? Let's keep this train going. Like, yeah. Conductor comes out. Lou Dort over 17.5 points. Full steam ahead. So we're riding. Oh, yeah. Oh, got a little bumpy. Got a little bumpy. Got a little bumpy. Off the rails. Off the rails. He decided to score 10 points, shoot 3 for 17, I believe, maybe 3 for 14. Can't exactly remember the exact number, but it was devastating. So, Lou Dort, thank you. It was a great time, but your train ride is over. Zach Wilson. Can't really give you an update on that. Still high on the kid because I got to be. I got to support the pick as a Jets fan. I got to do it. I got to do it. There's no other way about it. But now, time for me to buy some new tickets. Some new tickets. Hot off the press. So here we go. Mikey O'ver's hype train this week. The first ticket is LaMelo Ball. He's back. We're back. I'm back. Let's ride. And it's a train I've been on before, but we were just stopped getting some gas while he was injured. We fueled up the tanks. We cleaned off the tracks. We got some new beverages, some new snacks, because this train's going to the playoffs. So get me back on the train. I'm back on the train. And now for the second. Now my second ticket is a little bit of a, I guess you could call a hot take slightly. Maybe not, but my second train ticket is the Book It Sports hype train. I'm all aboard, and we're taking this baby to the crib. So if you haven't already, download the Book It Sports app. Free on the App Store. As I said before, it's the platform for all things sports bettors and sports fans alike. It's a scrolling social media feed application that you can post to that feed. You can follow your friends or personalities or anyone on the app that you are vibing with. You can track your action that you've been placing on the sports books to keep a record to show if you're good or not at what you talk about. And if you want some help or maybe some free locks, not free, but you can purchase expert picks from our Book It verified handicappers who do this for a living. That's been the break room. Download Book It Sports. Tell your friends about it. Get your friends on the platform. Follow me. Shout me out if you watched this episode. I've been Mikey O'ver. I've been getting paid. And this is the break room. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you here next week.